Hello and welcome to today's sleep relaxation talk now. This is your chance to relax and unwind. I'm going to be taking a ride through Wild West countryside today on horseback, and will allow you an opportunity to hopefully find yourself in a position where you feel tired or sleepy. So before we get started, just take a few moments to get comfortable, either sitting down or you might be laying down, but don't worry if there's a bit of noise. Just make sure that throughout this session you won't be physically disturbed. Make sure that any end of day activities have now been completed. Any alarms that you need setting for tomorrow are set. And as you settle down to get yourself comfortable, I'd like you to take in a couple of deep breaths, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Feel that sense of the lungs expanding, and as you breathe out, the body letting go of any tension or thoughts from today. So first of all, breathing in through the nose. Hold the breath for a short amount of time and then breathe out through the mouth. And then again, breathe in through the nose. And then out through the mouth. And if you haven't done so already, I invite you now at this moment to gently close your eyes. As I play this game, I'll tell you some stories and anecdotes from my life. Give you any thoughts on what's happening in the game. Remember that you don't need to pay specific attention to anything that's been said. I'll describe anything that happens visually to you, and nothing of any note will happen during the video. Don't need to get any sense of entertainment or anything. It's just a case of listening and spending some time relaxing. The key thing is to just listen and try to remain in the moment as much as possible, but at the same time, don't be concerned if your mind wanders, because this is absolutely fine. And I'll remind you to draw your attention back. So now I'm just going to mount the horse.
All right, my boy.
As you listen for any sounds that you can hear, the wildlife or other passing stagecoaches and horses, it's just turned midday and somewhat cloudy today. Pick up the pace a little and head into a trot. There's no rush. This is about being in the moment and enjoying the moment.
Settle.
One of the things I like about gaming in particular is the fact that you can escape into a different world, and you think about realistically, physically, logistically, and even in terms of finance, how you could go from, how could you do this now from wherever you are in your life at the moment? How could you go trekking on horseback in the US? Listening to the sounds of eagles overhead. And one thing that you definitely would not be able to do would be to transport yourself back in time. As we pass a wooden sign that just gives some directions for the next ranch. We're not doing anything in particular, we're just heading along this path. But games allow you that sense of escapism, especially open world games.
Howdy, partner. Keep clear of the wagon, sir.
Ah, sons of bitches.
Be quiet. You ain't going nowhere.
Oh, now. I'll kill all of you.
Will you just shut up back there?
We're heading today to a mining town. It'll be some time before we do get there. If you find that your mind wanders, then just remember that that's absolutely fine. You're not trying to cut out all thoughts. That's a natural response for the brain to think about things in the future and to go over things from today and in the past, and that's fine, but all you need to do is to gently try to draw your mind back to this moment and the sounds within the game. And how do those sounds change? The hooves from the horse and the wildlife.
Slow now.
As you listen, is the speed of the horse speeding up? Is it slowing down?
Slow it.
There are no proper sounds or improper sounds, as it were. Sounds come and go. And as do thoughts, one moment a thought will be there and then just let it go. Same as a sound comes in, it's there, and then it's gone. Your eyes may be starting to feel heavy by this point, or not. There's no pressure to feel sleepy. This is just an opportunity for you to relax, and if you fall asleep, then you fall asleep. And if not, you've hopefully had a chance to start to relax during this time. It might be an idea to make sure that you've switched off autoplay on YouTube so that when this video ends, you're not disturbed by another video you don't want to hear. Or another idea maybe to listen to a playlist of similar sleep talk down videos. I have a number on this channel.
Yep. Come on, folks. Fastest coach around here.
I'm just taking a moment now to pause. You can hear in the distance a flock of sheep being rounded up. You know, using these traditional farming methods. Quite literally. The sound of the sheepdog barking. And we now move away from that pastoral scene and back to the path which winds through the countryside.
Hey, easy.
I'm just approaching another sign now and following the signpost for Van Horn to the other directions lead, one in the direction of Emerald Ranch, one in the direction of Ansburg.
Easy there.
Howdy there, stranger. Hey, that's a nice looking horse you have there. Bet it ain't faster than mine, though. Ariel's my pride and joy. Why don't we race to Van Horn, the trading post? Whoa, whoa! So?
Ain't interested, fella.
All right, no problem. No harm in asking.
If your mind wanders, then this is okay, and just to gently draw it back to the sounds in the game and the sound of my voice. We're just heading downhill now to
Whoa, easy.
a river. We will just cross on horseback. Before we come out the other side.
Let up.
Another thing I really like about this game is the accents that you have in it as you're playing it. Gives you that sense of immersion, and it's similar for other games as well. I have some videos, some sleep talk down videos for Skyrim, which is an Elder Scrolls game. Doesn't matter whether you've played the game or not. It's a nice, relaxing world. And those videos, very similar to these. I'd urge you to have a look at them. But in terms of the accent, there's something again there in that there's a defined accent for that particular place, a Nordic accent. And this is something that I like about this game too. You feel like you are there. When you're in a place and everybody has the same accent, it does feel like you are somewhere very different. The passers-by and the character. As we're just trekking along this path following the river. It seems more remote here. The path doesn't seem as well trodden. Seems to be more wildlife around. As we're passing through, we're scaring flocks of birds.
One way or another. You can mind your own.
It's just turned 7 PM in the game now, and the shadows are starting to grow long. We just head downhill and cross a train track where the railroad weaves its way through the hillside, and we join up with a path on the other side, trail. I'm quite high up at this point. The sounds of the wildlife are different to where we were at the start. And in the distance, I think I can hear some water. A waterfall, perhaps, very, very faintly.
Hey, can you?
The rain starts to fall now in game. Quite heavily, in fact. And I, for one, I'm glad that I'm at home in the relative warmth and comfort, and not out here with the rain falling quite heavily at this moment. Puddles starting to form on the ground. Again, the sound of that rain now falling very, very heavily. As we weave our way down the hillside and continue along the trail.
Easy now. Whoa now.
And as it approaches 11 PM in the evening, the sounds and the wildlife really are very different now than they were earlier. And that might be something that is apparent as you listen. As we are now coming into town, we now obviously have the sound of a town at nightfall. And I'm just going to leave the horse here for a moment and just go on foot, just for a short amount of time, because we're actually walking now alongside a very, very slow moving locomotive. An old steam train. It's a freight train, this one. Sounds of the mechanical machinery for pulling into place above the train from the coal mine. The sounds of the coal being dropped into the carriages on the train. Before it's retracted back.
more time, boy.
To get back on the horse. And just head through underneath the mining company. Large timber building.
Hey, partner.
Where a bell rings. I do like the use of timber. As the train now prepares to depart the platform, and now with its freight on board, I'm gonna walk alongside it for a moment. There's a few different carriages it needs to, or containers it needs to fill with coal. It looks that way before it moves on, so we'll move on ourselves now. I've just mentioned briefly I like the use of timber as a construction material in these times. It just seems, gives it a sense of realism. If you see, you know, wooden buildings, I'm instantly transported back to these times, and bridges, and long before iron was used as a main construction material. You may be starting to feel a little sleepy by this point as we just make our way along the river. There's a boat moseying along very slowly. Potentially a lake, maybe a river.
Hey, easy.
Back out now into the wild and away from the sounds of the working. Away from the sounds of the working mine, we twist our way up the hill. It's 6 AM, just before 6 AM in the morning now.
Saddle.
So we made it through the cold, rainy night, and now we head in the morning. Some brisk forestry. A brisk walk through some forestry.
Slow now. Easy there.
The path leads to another river crossing. The horse will just wade through here now. Looks as though the river and the waterfall meets. A larger body of water. Potentially a lake. You may hear in the distance the sound of a waterfall. As again, the horse just wades through.
Easy, boy, easy. You're okay, boy. Take more than that to hurt you. You ready, boy? Slow it.
Just remember that it's absolutely fine if your thoughts wander, but to just bring them back to the moment and the sounds in the game, as we are heading up now quite high into the mountains. Very rocky terrain. And not as much wildlife as we had down earlier. Distant sound of the train. Out of sight, but can still be heard.
Easy now.
Almost there. Morning. Whoa, easy.
In the distance now we can see the snow on top of the hills or mountain range. There's no snow here where we are currently. We're actually starting to head back down at this point. One thing I really do like about open world games, and this is something that I'm doing at the moment, is I don't really have a destination in mind. I've not studied or looked at the map at this point. I'm just travelling, exploring. I'm not looking for anything in particular.
Come on, boy. You're tough.
And I'm going to, at this point, thank you for joining me today on this sleep talk down relaxation session. I hope that it's been some help to you as we hear the sound now of the distant waterfall, and that it's given you an opportunity to relax and maybe feel quite sleepy. If you've enjoyed the video, please then do like it, and more than anything, leave a comment in the description, below the description, to give me any feedback or any recommendations for future videos that you would particularly like. I wish you all the very best, and I hope that you can join me next time.